Starting advertising campaigns for your wedding business can be an incredible way to expedite and accelerate your business growth, but they are not for the faint of heart. My name is Mark Chapman. I'm the president of the I Do Society, and our whole entire focus of our work at the I Do Society is creating and managing effective ad campaigns for businesses in the wedding industry so that they can reach and convert their ideal couple. Over the past 15 years, we've spent over $30 million in advertising budget for wedding businesses, and we know exactly what works and exactly what doesn't work. So I want to start out this presentation with talking about what you need to know about advertising even before you begin, before you spend a single dollar on ads. Having an advertising system that you're in control of means you can increase your bookings, your leads, your tours faster than if you're relying on organic reach and referrals. Now, don't get me wrong, referrals are the heart of our businesses. Referrals are incredible. But when you are relying on organic reach and relying on referrals from other people or maybe industry partners, you don't actually have control over the number of leads coming into your funnel. You don't really have control over your business growth. And this is where advertising comes in because it allows you to create a system that generates consistent numbers of leads on an ongoing basis. And that is incredibly powerful. In order to create an effective advertising system for your business, it's so important to start and think about understanding today's brides and today's couples. Today's couples are research experts. They get into every nook and cranny of your business and they do it within 5 minutes on their cell phone. They are cold, as in a cold audience. They don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. The people that you reach with your advertising campaign are very different than those warm leads and referrals who are being sent to you from your industry partners or maybe people who are referring their family members because someone in their family used your business. So a cold audience is very different than those warm leads and referrals, and it's really important to consider that when you're thinking about your ad campaign. Today's brides and today's couples want to purchase from people. They want to know who you are. They want to support a small business. They want to find out if you're like-minded or not. And that's really important too. And lastly, most of the activity that they're going to do in relationship to your ad campaigns is going to happen on a mobile device. And they don't really like emailing. Most brides and couples today want to text. And it's really important to consider that when you're creating your ad campaigns as well. Thinking about who they are is really important, but thinking about where they are is also an important consideration before you start running ads. And if you're going to run ads, it is incredibly important to be omnipresent in that couples need to see you in multiple places, multiple times, and in multiple formats, not just on one single ad platform. For example, if you run just Google ads and people find you on Google, that's all great and wonderful, but they need to see you again on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, or see you again on TikTok and short form videos there. Without being present in multiple places, advertising does not work. It's no longer reasonable to expect to run ad campaigns on just one single platform and expect that to drive lots of great qualified leads to your business. Here's a super great example of what we call the pre-sale journey. This is their journey of discovering you to booking with you, or booking or requesting information from you, reaching out to you and becoming a warm lead. So let's say that couple or that bride discovers you from a Google ad and visits your homepage. And then she sees on your homepage that you have a link to your Instagram account. So she goes over there and sees all the good things you have on your Instagram. And she also wants to know, what have other couples or what have other brides said about you? So she visits your Google profile where she sees your Google reviews. She ends up back on the services page to your website, or maybe if you're a bridal store, she ends up on the designers page. And then she reads the about page because she wants to know, who is behind this business? Who am I going to meet with if I decide to book a tour or book a meeting? Are they like-minded with me? Do we jive? Are we similar? And then maybe she leaves your website because she's on her discovery journey. That's where that red X is on the middle of the screen there. But then if you're omnipresent and you're showing up in multiple places multiple times and in multiple formats, she sees your Instagram ad and she visits your contact page because she remembers you. She remembers your business. She's like, oh yeah, I remember this bridal store. I remember this venue. I remember this planner. I'm really excited about them. And I'm going to figure out how to contact them. But for this particular bride, she was so much more comfortable just reaching out and asking a simple question versus via text or maybe via the chat functionality on your website. So she starts the conversation there, sends her little message, goes back to another page on your website. Maybe it's the services page or maybe it's the designers page if you're a bridal store. And eventually she's back on your website and she feels comfortable because you've answered her question via text message or chat. She's read more about you. She's read about you multiple times and she ends up requesting that appointment or booking that that tour. And there are myriad different ways that this pre-sale journey can unfold, and this is just one example, but it's a great example of how being omnipresent is so important, because that's how couples today operate. They need to see you in multiple places, multiple times, and in multiple formats. Without it, you're going to be spending money on your ads, and if you're not omnipresent, your ad campaigns won't work to deliver those warm, qualified leads to your business. So, with these considerations in mind, here's a quick high level recipe for advertising success. First and foremost, like we said, being omnipresent, using Google Ads as a starting point for your ad campaigns, as well as one other ad platform, whether that's Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, or TikTok. And being present in both of those places will help drive the most qualified leads from your ad campaigns to your business. Your typical starting budget is really important to consider, and in order to be present on Google and Meta, or Google and TikTok, or all three if you can, you need about $1,000 per month to spend overall on your advertising. Without that, you're not going to be able to reach them multiple times, and your advertising campaigns will feel like they're failing because you're not reaching them multiple times. It takes about $1,000 a month for a wedding business to start in order to make sure that couples are reached in multiple places, multiple times. Your website is very important. This could be a whole different presentation, but we're going to go through some really important considerations quickly here in this recipe for advertising success. Your website needs to make sure that it tells your personal story of the business owner or the business on the whole, the key players in the business. They want to know that they relate to the people that they're buying from. Your USP stands for unique selling proposition. Your website needs to communicate what they can get from you that they cannot get from anyone else in the industry, in their area, or available to them. Make sure your unique selling proposition is present on your website and repeated multiple times throughout. It's very important that you list price range on your website. Couples who are from that cold audience will not convert. They will not fill out your contact form, request an appointment, book a tour, or whatever if they have no concept of what your pricing is. If they don't think they can afford you or don't know if they can afford you, they're just not going to reach out. They're going to go find someone else who has their pricing listed so that they know what that range is and if it's within what they can afford. And also having chat functionality on your website, or a little link to click to text you, is really important, because that opens up the door for those couples and those brides and that cold audience to ask you a simple question. Maybe it's a question about the designers you carry at your bridal store. Maybe it's a question about your availability if you're a venue or a planner or is another service-based business in the industry, right? They need to be able to ask you a simple question. If they can't do that and you force them to fill out a contact form with all their personal information, they're just not going to do it. It's important to be ready when you run ad campaigns to respond to inquiries quickly. Now, if you have specific hours you're not working, or you're not up late at night responding to all your inquiries, consider an automation. This could be a whole presentation too, and there's so many automation tools for responding to inquiries. Maybe your website even has that already. If someone fills out your contact form, where it sends them an email, it says, "Hey, we got your message. We're going to get back to you as soon as we're open in the morning," or whatever. But make sure that your communication strategy on your website is set up to respond quickly to inquiries. That way they can know that they're heard and they feel confident that you're going to get back to them in a timely fashion. And lastly, if you're running ad campaigns, it's really important that your organic social media is up to speed and you're posting regularly, so that they click through to look at your Instagram profile. It looks like you're alive and it looks like you're still in business. So make sure that you're posting regularly on your organic profile to really generate that sense of warmth and comfort that all things are going well in your business, you're alive. And also the same goes for your reviews. Most importantly, your Google reviews. Having some up-to-date and recent reviews always is very important, because that way it doesn't feel like a year ago or 2 years ago when the last review was made and it's not relevant to what you're doing now. That helps a couple who finds you from an ad campaign feel really, really confident that you're alive and well and you're doing great business right now, and that you can be a consideration for them to have at their wedding. And just really warm that lead up to making sure that they're excited to do business with you. So let's wrap up all those considerations into one big takeaway and put a pretty bow on it. It's really important that before you start an ad campaign, you are prepared to reach couples in multiple places, multiple times, and that your communication strategy matches their expectations. This is going to be the key to increasing your bookings, your tour requests, your appointment requests, your contact form fills in your website from your ad campaign, and making sure that you are turning that cold audience into warm leads. Okay, so if you're still with me and you're not scared off by all those considerations and things to do before you start an advertising campaign, let's dive in and talk about how to create an ad on each specific platform that reaches and converts your ideal couple. We're going to start out with Google Ads because this is by far the most important platform to consider when running advertising campaigns. Because Google Ads reach couples when they're actively searching for you, this is very, very, very different than Meta and TikTok or anywhere else. When they are searching on Google, we know that they are looking for you. They intend to find an answer to their question, a business to work with. And this platform is so powerful because of that, because it has what we call search intent. So, starting at the top, we want to talk about the type of ad campaign to create. A lot of businesses take the easy route and create what are called performance max campaigns or smart campaigns because maybe a Google rep has given you that advice or a different agency that's not wedding industry specific has given you that advice. But it's really important to know that these two campaign types are absolutely terrible and not good for businesses in the wedding industry. You can actually go and find out the campaign type if you log into your Google Ads app on your phone or you log into Google Ads on your desktop computer. And if you see Performance Max by that red X or Smart, the word smart by that, you can see the red X's on the screen here. If you see those two words and those campaigns are running, I strongly encourage you to turn those campaigns off because they're absolutely wasting your money. Instead, you should be running what's called a search campaign. And a search campaign is a campaign type that is simply focused on keywords that are entered into the Google search and search results, businesses listed underneath the keyword when someone types that into Google. It's so important you turn off your performance max campaigns or your smart campaigns and only run a search campaign. Whether you're creating a new search campaign from scratch or you're already running one, I want to talk about ad strategy next. So it's really important that the keywords that someone types in are found in the first headline of your ad. You can see the two arrows there. The first arrow points to the search that says suit rental for weddings, and the headline of the ad says wedding suit rentals. It's the same concept, it's the same thing. That keyword match is absolutely essential to your ads performing correctly as a wedding business who's using Google Ads because it helps the person who typed those keywords into Google feel like they found exactly what they're looking for. If you write something else and you don't match the headline of your ad to the keyword that was searched, it's irrelevant. It doesn't look relevant. It's not going to work. So that's most important lesson for Google Ads number one. Secondly, there are things you can add on to your Google ad called assets. There's lots of different types, but on the screen here you can see three different assets. The one, submit measurements, testimonials, contact us, those are called site link assets. Those allow you to link to deeper pages on your website that maybe someone who's on that search journey wants to take. Maybe someone who's looking for tuxedo rentals for their wedding, maybe they see your ad and the keyword matches the headline, which is awesome, but then they see that opportunity to read testimonials. And to them, that's the journey that they want to take that's most relevant and most powerful for them. So they can click on that site link asset and go right to the testimonials page of your website. Super powerful. Also, adding your phone number as an asset is really important. You know, a lot of folks don't actually want to pick up the phone and call these days, but having a sense that they can pick up the phone and call if they wanted to creates assurance, it creates warmth, it creates a connection to your business that, like, oh, someone's there to help me if I want to call, even though I don't want to. But this makes me feel more comfortable with this business that I'm seeing in the Google search page. And then lastly, if you're a location based business, you can connect your Google Ads account with your Google business profile, and it's called a location asset. So they can see the location of your business and click on that, goes to Google Maps, and it feels a lot more organic when they click on that address and figure out where you are, how far away you are from them. So these assets are the second most important thing that you can set up with your Google Ads campaign. Now, you can also implement demographic targeting in your ad campaigns. You can say, hey, Google, I want to run a search campaign, and I only want the ads to show up to people of a certain age, or a certain gender, or a certain household income. That's different for every wedding business, and so I'm not going to dive too deep into that here and give any instruction on that. You get to choose that on your own. But it's really, really powerful to be able to focus the dollars that you're spending on advertising on exactly the right people and the right couples. And then also, you can implement what are called audience segments into your Google Ads campaign when you're running a search campaign. You can see there's a list of different ones related to the wedding industry. You can say, hey, Google, I only want to show my ads to those people who are a certain age range, certain gender, certain household income, and people that you have identified who are in market for bridal wear or who are in market for wedding and engagement rings, right? So it's incredibly powerful to implement audience segments as well, so that when your Google Ads dollars are being spent, you know that they're being spent on people who are really the right fit for your business. So here are the high level, really important takeaways in our super quick crash course here on Google Ads. It's so important that you have keyword match between the search term and the headline of your ad, and that your text is compelling and that you have all those assets associated with your ad as well. It's important that you link your Google Ads to your Google Business profile. Even if you're not a location-based business, when you link those two things up, your Google reviews are more prominent with your ads, and people can see those. And that also links up to like the areas that you service. So if that person is in the area that you service and you share the information on your Google Business profile, people who are in your area are a lot more likely to see your ads and interact with them. So that's really important as well. And then, of course, layering on those demographic variables is absolutely essential so that you know you're spending money on people who are the right fit for your business. All right, so let's say your Google Ads campaign is up and running, is doing great, and we're looping back to what we talked about in the beginning, is that brides and couples need to see you in multiple places, multiple times, and in multiple formats in order to convert. Meta Ads is an awesome place to be omnipresent. And starting from the top, when you're setting up your Meta Ads campaign, you get to choose different campaign objectives, is what they call them. This is basically different algorithms for the ways that Meta shows your ads to people and the actions that they intend them to take or think that they'll take. And for businesses in the wedding industry, it's really important that you create a traffic campaign objective, which you can see there with the green check mark. Even though all these other different campaign types seem pretty cool and pretty exciting, they're actually not the right fit, because what we want is we want to get people on Meta to see your ad and click on it and visit your website, create website traffic from the campaign. There's one exception to the rule, that if your campaigns are set up and you're tracking conversions and you have a lot of lead data from your campaigns, some businesses with a lot of that lead data can use the leads campaign objective, which is the yellow triangle there with an exclamation mark in it. But if you don't have a ton of conversion data and you don't have a ton of tracking, don't use this campaign type. This is only really for more advanced businesses who are doing a lot of tracking and have a lot of leads. And after you choose that campaign objective, it's time to set up your audience. And here's an example of an audience, and this can be different for every business in the wedding industry, but I want to point out some things, is that you choose your location of your audience. In this case, it's a whole state. You could choose certain zip codes or a radius around your business. Whatever works best for you to reach couples and brides who are reasonably in your area, who are going to drive to you if you're a location-based business or you service them in that location. And honestly, smaller is better. It can't hurt to go small and reach and expand your location after a little bit of campaign time. You want to choose the age range. On Meta, you can choose very specific age ranges. You can choose 25 to 38, or you can choose 21 to 32. Whatever your ideal bride or couple is, you can actually put that into the your Meta Ads campaign and make sure that your ads are only showing to people within that age range. You can also choose gender. Maybe you just want to target women. Maybe men and women is best for your business. That's totally okay either way. And what's really cool here is that you can layer on different demographics. And in this case, the audience is for a Disney hotel that we work with here at the I Do Society. So it's pretty obvious that we want to target people who are interested in Disney, but who are also engaged to be married, right? Maybe your business is different. Maybe you really get along with dog people, and you want to make sure that all the couples who show interest in your wedding venue are dog people. So you can say, hey, you want to reach people who are interested in dogs, who are also engaged to be married, and they're in that last bit there. You can also say income levels, household income levels. The dog example isn't right for everyone. Just putting that out there as an idea for how you can shape your target audience to make sure that you're spending money on people who you resonate with and people that you want to work with and that you like, or who will match the vibe of your business. It's really powerful to be able to set those layered demographic targeting options for your audience. And as a rule of thumb, when you're setting all this up, choosing your location, your age range, your demographic variables, it's really powerful and important to make sure that you have about an estimated audience size of about 10,000 people. And that if your audience size is 10,000 people, you set a budget of $16 a day. That ends up being about $500 per month if you multiply $16 a day by 30 days in a month. Because what we know about this is that folks need to see your ad multiple times on Instagram, Facebook, in Messenger, in stories and reels. And your $16 a day budget with an audience size of about 10,000 people is going to ensure that your meta ads does reach them multiple times across Facebook, across Instagram, and all the different placements that are offered through the platform. For creating the ad itself, here's a breakdown of what we know works really well based on tons of testing. Now, on the top left, you can see an arrow that points to ad copy that is actually, it's just a testimonial that's copied and pasted and turned into ad copy. Using testimonials for your ad copy is super powerful because what other people say about your business is taken very differently than whatever you have to say about your business. And also, it's something that people relate to and it's easy to read. You can include those emojis that are stars in there to indicate, hey, this is a testimonial. And you don't have to worry about being a really awesome copywriter if that's not within your skill set. And then the next set of arrows down is pointing to the visuals of the ad. On the left, you have a Facebook ad. On the right, you have an Instagram ad. It's the same ad, just formatted differently for the specific social media platform. In your ads, you absolutely want to use short form video. Currently, in the market and the advertising environment, people are responding so much better to videos. And you can see here's a bride. She's twirling around. She's showing the dress. It's very interactive, and you can get a feel for, in this case, it's a bridal store. You can kind of see what in the background, what that bridal store looks like, which is really powerful. Moving down past the video of your ad and the ad copy, you can see that there's a call to action button. For businesses in the wedding industry, you want to use the learn more call to action button. You have so many different options here. It could say shop now, book now, do all these other things. When a bride or a couple is just finding out about you for the first time from an ad, they aren't going to book now. They are not in the mode of booking when they're scrolling through Instagram. You want to use that learn more button because it's a call to action, but it's also soft. It's inviting them to click on that and visit your website where you've done all the work on your website to show your venue and pictures of your venue, your designers if you're a bridal store, or your story if you're a service-based business in the wedding industry, right? So getting them off of Facebook and Instagram to visit your website is super important, and the Learn More button is absolutely the way to do that. The last arrow on the bottom left there is pointing to what we call social proof. When you have an ad running that is what we call evergreen, there's no dates or time specific information on it, and you run the ad for a long time, and people like and comment and share on that, that signifies to other people who see that same ad, oh, this is interesting content. Maybe it's a sponsored ad, but other people have liked this. Other people have shared it and commented on it. I'm going to take a minute to digest what this ad is telling me because it must be valuable. It's valuable to other people. Maybe it's valuable to me too. And that social proof is so powerful for your ad campaigns on Meta to make sure that more people engage with your ad, they see your ad, they trust it, and it begins that journey of knowing and liking and trusting you and clicking over to visit your website. So here's our key considerations for meta ad campaigns. Your video does all the work. We're actually going to talk a little bit more about video in this last segment coming up about TikTok ads. So put a pin in that, but just know that when you're creating meta ads, your video is super important. It does all the work to communicate whatever message you want to communicate. Your bidding strategy matters very deeply. You want to choose a traffic bidding strategy to get people to click on your ad and visit your website where you put so much work into describing your business and sharing your story and your unique selling proposition. Get that bidding strategy set up as traffic and get them to your website. And your audience definition and size in your budget matters so much. If you have too large of an audience and you're not spending enough money, and every person in your audience only sees your ad one time, your ad campaign won't work. They need to see your ad multiple times across those platforms. Last but absolutely not least are TikTok ads. This platform is becoming a staple for successful advertising in the wedding industry very quickly because it's so powerful. There's some things that make TikTok ads really, really different from Meta that I want to discuss. I was at a conference recently and someone who was giving a presentation on TikTok said, hey, we've made Instagram too pretty. And it's so true because TikTok is a place where couples can see really more organic, more down-to-earth information, more real information that's even more trustworthy, and it's becoming an incredible tool for communicating who you are as a business and really reaching couples in a format that they remember. It conveys a ton of information in a really memorable way. Short form video has taken over on social media as the format, both organically and in paid ads for success. And one thing that's really cool about the TikTok ads platform is that you don't have to have a social TikTok account. You don't have to be posting TikToks every day like you do on Instagram and keeping up to speed with it all the time and creating new organic content. You can actually create a TikTok ads account and not even have a TikTok social account and be very successful with TikTok ads. And the first question we always get here at the I Do Society when people ask us about TikTok ads is, what should my video be about? What do I do? Because it can be really overwhelming and scary to think about creating a short form video. Well, here's 3 examples of really, really easy things you can do to create a video that works powerful before and after. A lot of us, or almost all of us in the wedding industry, have a business where we take something and we create something new with it. There's something that was before, there's an after. Maybe it's maybe you're a venue and you show the venue space before any decorations, tables, chairs, linens, all that is done, and you create a little video, a little quick walkthrough of the venue space with nothing, and you switch over and you show the venue that's all done up. It's beautiful. There's the cake, there's all the flowers and all the decor, and a quick before and after shows a couple what can be done with your venue space. Or another before and after is if you're a bridal store, maybe you're showing the bride in her street clothes and you switch through and you show the bride in different dresses, right? Anyway, before and after is a really powerful recipe for TikTok videos that works really well and creates so much emotion and so much trust and desire for what you do and what you have to offer. Another video recipe that's really popular is behind the scenes. Show people how it's done. Show them your secrets, right? Even if you're not really giving away your secrets. Show them how great you are at your job by building that trust and building that warmth and excitement for what you do, by showing them the process. They love learning that. They will remember that for sure. And then another quick example, which is really easy to do, especially if you have a physical location, is just doing a tour of your physical location. This is the outside, this is the inside. People really want to find out what your space looks like before they decide to book a tour or book an appointment. And doing a quick little video tour is a great way to have a short video that works incredibly well for TikTok ads and gets those people excited about your business. And here's one more example of a TikTok video type that will really be a winner every time. And we categorize this type as like an education video. I'm going to play the video here in the presentation. You can see basically it's a video that a bridal store created educating brides about what they need to be prepared for their appointment. Check it out.
These are the things that you need to do about finding your wedding dress. The timeline, 4 to 6 months is okay. We prefer 8 to 12. If you are a bride with less time than that, we can always pull out of stock or off the rack depending on the size. So there's always options if you don't have as much time. So when you come in and you don't know what you want, then make sure you're open-minded to trying out all the different options and hearing out your party, because obviously they're looking out.
Anyway, you get the idea. She's sharing timeline. She's sharing a video, and actually subconsciously in the back of some of that video, you could see what the inside of the bridal store looked like. It was very beautiful and very nice, and there were all those dresses hanging out or hanging on the racks. This type of educational video is super powerful because it doesn't feel like an ad. It's not spammy. It's something where you build so much trust by educating that bride and helping her along on her journey, and being helpful is such a powerful tool with TikTok ads. It's absolutely awesome. And when you're ready to build your campaign, just like Google Ads and Meta Ads, there are different campaign types that you can create with TikTok ads. And basically, in TikTok, it's a little bit different where you're choosing what's called your optimization location. And just like Meta, you want to send traffic to your website. You want people who click on your TikTok ad to visit your website so they can learn more, book their appointment, get in touch with you, text you, chat with you, whatever. So choosing your optimization location of your website for wedding businesses is absolutely essential. And then moving on to your audience strategy, just like in Meta, you can choose age range, you can choose location. One thing that's a little bit different about TikTok ads is you can't actually specify specify exact age numbers. They request you to put in a range of ages, so you can choose whichever one is right for your business. You can also choose spending power and household incomes, whether it's the top 25%, the top 50% of household incomes. You can set that up just like Meta and Google, so that when you're spending your dollars on TikTok ads, you're spending it on the bride who is in the right demographics for your particular business. And last but not least, you can, just like Meta, choose interests. Now, on TikTok, you cannot specifically target people who are engaged to be married. That's one of the big differences. But on the screen here, you can see there's lots of different wedding interests. And when you target by these wedding interests and you have your age range set up and you have your household income demographic targeting set up, it really does the exact same thing. There's one quick pitfall to avoid, and that's down there at the bottom of that red X. You can see that there's an option to check a box for smart interests and behaviors. Don't check this box. Don't let TikTok define your audience. It's really important that you take full control and you define your audience and not give them that power. And just like in Meta, when you're building this audience, TikTok is going to show you what your audience size is based on all the inputs that you put in. Now, there's a really big difference between Meta and TikTok in that TikTok typically has larger audience sizes. And you can see in the screen here that the size between 35 and 44,000, an audience size of about 40,000 is really where you want to be with your TikTok ads campaign setup. Now, there's a little notification that's going to show up for you when you do narrow down your audience to about 40,000 people. It says your audience is too narrow, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about that. It's not going to affect your ad campaign negatively in any way. This is just TikTok trying to get you to spend more money and reach more people. But for you as a business in the wedding industry, don't worry about that notification. Make sure your audience size is around 40,000, 30 to 40,000. That should be good. And there's a note here too about budget. At this point in time, TikTok does require advertisers to spend a minimum of $20 a day. And with the audience size of about 30 to 40,000, it's actually really cool. $20 a day reaches all those people because TikTok ads are actually a lot cheaper than Meta ads. The cost per click is a lot lower, so your budget goes a lot further. Here's our key considerations for TikTok ads. Your video does all the work to win their heart and earn their trust, and your video is so powerful. So use those recipes or those examples of types of videos that I mentioned to create. TikTok considers itself to be an entertainment platform, not social media, actually, because there's a lot less social interaction on TikTok. People don't typically follow their friends or whatever. They're looking at videos that are educational, entertaining. So just framing TikTok ads in that space of more entertainment and not social is important to know as a business in the wedding industry who's considering doing TikTok ads. And last but not least, TikTok ads are super cheap, kind of like I mentioned with that audience size and the relationship to the $20 a day budget. Right now, clicks on TikTok ads are a third or a fourth of the cost as they are on Meta ads. So your budget just goes a lot further, and the early bird gets the worm because right now there's a lot of ad inventory, we call it, on TikTok, meaning there's a lot of advertiser space. And there are a lot of businesses in the wedding industry who are afraid of TikTok ads because it's just another thing to learn, another thing to do. But those businesses who are adopting and using TikTok ads right now are reaping the rewards because the early bird gets the worm. It's a lot cheaper. It may not stay that way forever, but right now it is. And TikTok ads is incredibly powerful. And I hope that you take advantage of it as well as your Google ads and your Meta ads too, if you can, because your budget's going to go really far and you're going to reach a lot of brides and really win their hearts over. All right, so you have done an amazing job taking all this information in and learning about Google Ads, Meta ads, and TikTok ads. And I hope that I've delivered to you some clear, concise, and actionable information that you can use for building an advertising strategy for your wedding business. If you'd like to learn more about advertising or working with the I Do Society, where we create and manage campaigns on your behalf so that you can reach and convert your ideal couple, you can find out more on our website, theidosociety.com. And there's a link on our website where you can book a meeting with me personally to talk about what that looks like for your business and outsourcing your advertising work to a company like us who's an expert in the wedding industry and experts with the advertising platforms, all the different costs and different timelines and things like that. Happy to share that with you, and I'd love to meet with you. So please do book a meeting at theidosociety.com. Thanks for watching my presentation, and be well.